Over the past decade, training in mindfulness meditation, also defined as the intentional cultivation of a present moment in a non-judgmental way, just focusing in an attention and awareness, has spread out from its initial Western applications in medicine to other fields. Although the term mindfulness is relatively new for some people, maybe, the idea and the value of training the mind to pay attention and purpose moment by moment has been recognized for centuries among many cultures. So mindfulness provides the optimal conditions for learning and teaching, and also supports all kind of approaches. So this presentation we will explore ways of integrating the discipline of mindfulness for benefit of all people concerning physical, emotional, and mental well-being. So, my name is Marcelo Csermák. I'm from São Paulo, Brazil. I'm a lecturer on neuroscience and mindfulness meditation behavior. I'd like to thank all the organizers for the invitation here. And my main goal is to explore the theme related to managing anxiety, and in order to provide better quality of life. And so I finished my PhD in psychobiology, and I've been training as a practice leader for many years, as well as mindfulness facilitator. So I think that we have the perfect way to explore in this presentation just a little bit what you can have in your mind in order to deal with your emotional way of thinking and behavior in our daily life. For thousands of years, meditation and other practice that used to train the mind have been used philosophical, spiritual, and humanistic traditions in order to cultivate mental well-being. So in this present day, a remarkable collaboration between some of the world's leading neuroscientists and advanced meditators is beginning to shed new light on this ancient practice. So in this lecture again, I would like to explore a bit this content with you and try to demonstrate how meditation can help us train the mind and rewire the brain to experience, to be more mindful, to be more compassionate, and to have more insight in our modern cities. So I'd like to say that mindfulness comes from a cognitive and affective neuroscience field. It's a common and fertile ground between neuroscience, psychology, and contemplative practice. One of the definitions that I like the most is that mindfulness is the awareness that emerges through pay attention on purpose, always with an intention in the present moment, without any kind of judgment to the unfolding of experience, moment by moment. This definition comes from John Kabat-Zinn, and it's a fundamental component of human consciousness also, and a mental capacity that can be consolidated through a variety of training methods. And we can practice mindfulness meditation in a formal way, that I used to say that it's like a seated meditation that you heard before, that you see before, maybe you practiced before. And I can practice mindfulness in an informal way, like being aware of our daily task, like eating or doing my dishes or walking or having a conversation with someone, for example. And I do prefer talking about mindfulness when I realize that is a state of quality of your mind. This is that I prefer to say here. And one of the things that I would like to highlight is that practicing mindfulness is the real intention, not to getting rid of the thought, feelings, or sensations, but cultivate a clear awareness of the present experience with kindly curiosity, with a kindly way to deal with your emotions, noticing whatever arise with acceptance, and being open to the experience that emerges in the present moment. Like you have to focus your attention and to work with your concentration, being aware and understanding the whole thing. I mean, thoughts, emotions, ideas, and once you are training mindfulness, you are able to grow up your self-empathy and compassion for yourself and for others. So we can say that mindfulness is to be consciously aware of your emotions, your body, your activities, movements, sensations, even your posture. At the same time that you're aware of your feelings, your perceptions, your thoughts and emotions. Once again, moment by moment, with open curiosity, without making any kind of judgment, and especially in a non-reactive way. I think that it's very hard nowadays with this pandemic life and all the triggers that we have to deal with. But the neurobiology results for many research are showing that we are able to have more activity in our left prefrontal cortex, which is associated with positive mood states like happiness and the sensation of feeling good. And other research is showing that there are increased activity in the hippocampus, which is the area responsible for memory and the structures associated with the self-awareness, compassion, and introspection, the ability to be in silence with your mind, with your body, with your thoughts. Especially reduction the stress and the decreasing the activity of the amygdala and the cortisol secretion, which causes stress. And once you are able to practice mindfulness regularly, you are able to increase the activity in in central prefrontal cortex, which is the area responsible for attention, focus, and decision making. And as you can imagine, it's very important to cultivate these new abilities in our new world in order to remember and to be aware of your cleaning, your using your masks, and even the challenging that we have to face in our daily life. But there's some benefits for the practitioners. And the main ones here for our lecture are regarding to have collectively demonstrate a range of cognitive, social, and physiological benefits. So these three main fields: improvement in working memory. So as I spoke before, there is an increase in hippocampus area, which is related to memory. And then we can build and kind of sustain our attention, our social skills, the ability to deal with others without reacting the way that we used to react to, at least, and promoting an emotional regulation and improving our self-esteem. And for last, decreasing our anxiety, which is, you have to agree with me, it's so important. Decreasing our stress once again, and fatigue. When we talk about mindfulness and the new perspective of the mind, in my opinion, we are essentially talking about a particular configuration of cause and conditions that are going to loosen up and harden the soil of our mind, so that we become receptive to the recognition, and it's all about to recognize everything. So it is the way that you see the new world for me. I mean, the new normal, so to speak, that when we get it just right, will trigger this recognition to happen, and we have to trigger this. So in my opinion, I would say there's a very potent form of learning, maybe reading a book, maybe through words and internet, I don't know, and this endless stream of information, but rather through modeling the way you feel or thought, or maybe your emotion, in a way that you recognize if you are aware or not. You may be aware of the present or not, and especially if you are wandering all the time. So in my purpose here, you have to be aware of the whole scenario. We never had any kind of model for that in our outside world. If we did not meet somebody who will felt embodied that quality, if we never heard about such a figure, maybe read about them or saw an image or hear a story, we will not even think to see that in ourselves. So for me, I will not even be a glimmer of an idea, or it will be simple so improbably that it would just never happen. So I would encourage you to really explore this. As you do encounter all these people and stories and archetypes, to really ask yourself, what is this helping me to see about myself? What can I learn about myself? If I view this as a role model or a mirror that is pointing out something to me. So you can ask yourself again, who am I? Instead of answering with the thinking mind, so let go, and you see wherever you can open the possibility that who you truly are is infinitely more open, spacious, and radiant than you could ever imagine. So for me, when you talk about mindfulness and this whole thing about being aware wherever you are and wherever appears in your reality is the main thing that you have to work with. We might much rather do something or imagine something, create something, and really put ourselves through a lot of hardship. But the fundamental problem, in my opinion, is that we are overloading our minds with this craziness, things of the new world. So I would say that the way that our life is taking nowadays must probably be leading us to much more suffering rather than happiness, as I can see in my patients and my students. Now that hating oneself, appreciating oneself, becoming friends with oneself does not mean that we want to become narcissists. No way. In the process of doing this, we also don't want to become vain. We don't want to develop the habit of self-righteousness as well. So we don't want to become carried away by cherishing one's individuality. Does not mean that you should forsake our responsibility towards others. So this is one of the most important things that you have to know about mindfulness nowadays, and how you can benefit in this new skills and abilities once you are able and you are aware and paying attention for everything that is happening in this new world, in this new life. So it's a quick presentation. I'd like to thank you all again, and I hope you have a nice life. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.